All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown. All three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Jim Butcher, Blood Rites. This is book number 6 in the Harry Dresden series of some 20-odd books, I don't know. I've reviewed probably 2/3 of the books now. I'm not reviewing them in order. I think I reviewed the first 5 and then the last 6, and now we're doing the middle 6. I don't know. This one came out in 2004. Let's talk about the covers first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. This book is got the same illustrator that did all of the Harry Dresden book covers. It looks good. I mean, I've got the entire set up here on the shelf. That's my Jim Butcher shelf right there. And you can see, all the spines look cool. There's, the other books there, and I've met Jim Butcher several times. I've actually got quite a few of my books signed by Jim Butcher. And if you want to watch me and Jim Butcher and Larry Correia and Brian McClellan, we did a video together at the Salt Lake City Comic-Con. It is a panel about writing and tropes, fantasy tropes. So just if you want to watch that video, it's about an hour long. It is on my channel. Just type in my last name, Durfee, Jim Butcher, Brian McClellan, fantasy tropes, Salt Lake Comic-Con. Just type in a combination of those words and the video should show up. Okay, anyway, let's talk about this book here. Harry Dresden is a investigator, kind of like each one of these books starts off sort of like all of your hard-boiled noir-ish investigative novels where Harry's just sitting in his office or something and someone comes and gives him a case to solve, a supernatural case. He's a wizard, and takes place in Chicago. We've got a whole world building of wizards and vampires and werewolves and all sorts of supernatural monsters that live on the underbelly and the hidden parts of Chicago and the United States in general. Harry Dresden solves mysteries involving these things. Now, this book starts a little different. Harry's not sitting in his office and somebody comes in with a case. He's actually rescuing. This book starts in the middle of a scene where he's rescuing some puppies. And he's being chased by flying demon monkeys. And he's rescuing the puppies for a Himalayan monastery, of all things, who have somehow lost the puppies and need to get them back. But anyway, during this little opening adventure, he runs into the vampire Thomas. Thomas is actually giving him a ride to and from the puppy rescue. Let's just say this. Anyway, Thomas, the main plot is there's a film producer, and the film producer feels like he's under this curse where all the women around him are dying crazy deaths. Now Thomas kind of puts Harry, the vampire Thomas sort of puts Harry on this case, like, hey, we need to figure this out. Harry's just like, not really that interested, but he takes the case anyway, not for money. He doesn't want to do it for money. He's more of a favor for Thomas, but he's like, okay, if I solve this case, you don't owe me money, but you finally have to tell me why, as a vampire, Thomas, why you are my friend, because Harry the wizard does not get along with the vampire clan. And that's why he takes the case, to figure out why this film producer and the women around this film producer are dying. My notes fell on the floor, so I'm going to have to pick them up and tape them back to the camera stand. But we'll edit all that out, of course. So anyway, in the midst of this case, we find out that there are worse things than going undercover on the set of an adult film, or being even chased by flying, burning demon monkeys, or enraged demon monkeys. I mean, really, like I said, he's only involved in this case just as a favor to Thomas. But Thomas is a vampire, of course. He's flirtatious. He's got nebulous, negligible integrity. He's self-absorbed. I mean, there's a few things about Thomas that are sus. Even which makes for a shaky investigation. Even because Thomas, it seems like Thomas has a personal stake in figuring out this whole thing about the dying women and the movie producer. All of this sort of kind of involves Thomas's oversexed and very dangerous vampire family. And all of this sort of boils down into kind of a shocking secret that sort of changes things forever in Harry Dresden's life. That's kind of the basis of the plot. Now, it's got your typical Harry Dresden wry sense of humor, his sort of smart aleckiness, his sort of, I mean, it's kind of like Harry Dresden as Jack Reacher. I think Jack Reacher, like, no, he's not even a very good comparison at all. I don't even know why I compared. I guess it's because it's a first person. All the Harry Dresdens are told from the first person. And the Harry Dresden, just like Jack Reacher, is kind of always the smartest, the biggest smart ass in the room, let's just say. Although I think Jack Reacher is a little funnier in a lot of ways. Of course, Jack Reacher is much more of a badass. Harry Dresden's a little more kind of like, you know, not as self-confident, let's just say, as Jack Reacher. However, Harry Dresden has the magical powers that Jack Reacher's got the muscles. Jack Reacher's like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He just kicks ass. Harry Dresden, though a little more self-conscious and not as confident all the time in his abilities, does have the magic, which helps him out. Anyway, that's kind of the basis of this one. It was a fun read, an interesting read, a middle book in a major series. I love the series. I love Jim Butcher's writing. I like the style that it's written in. I think it's very, very easy to read. The stories are always fun. I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10 stars for Blood Rites number 6 in the Harry Dresden series.